So day 2 of the crucial Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping's meeting has finally ended. It was an excellent wrap. Both the leaders had very cordial meetings. Now the whole day started where they both had a one-on-one meeting, which was earlier scheduled for about 40 minutes but lasted 55 minutes. Post that, there was a delegation level talk, and then there was a press briefing from the Ministry of External Affairs side. Now what really happened in a nutshell? The meeting lasted about 6 hours, was the direct discussion time that both the leaders had. The Prime Minister spoke about the Chennai Connect. Now this is directly connected to the Wuhan Connect, which happened earlier last year.
आज के हमारे चेन्नई कनेक्ट से दोनों देशों के बीच सहयोग का एक नया दौर शुरू होगा.
Now, President Xi Jinping also sincerely felt welcomed here. He said that the progress for both the countries is inevitable. It is happening. Some of the areas that they have agreed to focus on are trade. The other one is manufacturing partnerships. And they said that certain sectors need to be identified where it can enhance the market and create jobs.
Some of the other topics included the challenges that both countries face on account of terrorism. There was an acknowledgement that both countries are very complex, they are very diverse. Both leaders said that these were large countries and that radicalization was a matter of concern to both, and that both would work together to see that radicalization and terrorism did not affect the fabric of our multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious societies. Since both Achal and Abhishek referred to Jammu and Kashmir, I would like to state quite categorically that this issue was not raised and not discussed, and therefore there is no question of my making any further comments on the matter. In any case, the Government of India's position, as expressed publicly, is very clear. This is a matter that concerns the internal affairs of the country. The Prime Minister also suggested that in order to enhance P2P contact between the public in both sides, we should also look, among other things, at homestay. And President Xi Jinping gave a positive response to this particular suggestion.
So the big meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping has happened. 2 days of talks between the leaders. It's an informal summit. Obviously, post Wuhan, you expected some kind of a development, while largely it was closed doors, but we are getting to hear that 3 big takeaways. One, that the two sides will work closely on settling some differences on trade. Obviously, there's a burgeoning trade deficit that is there between India and China. Secondly, greater market access for Indian companies, and India will also be open to providing similar things for the Chinese companies as well. Second, a greater cooperation on international arena, be it on climate change, also on the issue of terrorism. India made it very clear that for India, terrorism continues to be a big concern, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and even at the delegation level talks, it was made very clear that that's a core concern for India, and India does have a problem about China supporting Pakistan blanketly. Even support to fugitives like Masood Azhar was a cause of concern of India for India. The third thing, boundary issue. They will work towards a reasonable and a settlement which is acceptable to both sides. So there is a likelihood that the special representatives who have had several rounds of meetings will go ahead and have another round soon, and they will look at some kind of a breakthrough, because so far so many rounds have happened, you haven't seen a breakthrough. As I said earlier, that this is the time when the leadership of both the countries, it's mature and they can take hard decisions, and boundary is something, it's a complex issue. You cannot do away without having a bargain. So that's something which Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping are capable of doing that. So that is essentially the sum and substance of the meeting. Largely it sends a global message as well, that India engages with the global powers, be it Donald Trump of the US, where Prime Minister got a red carpet when he was in the US, or Chinese President Xi Jinping, who came to India on the invitation of the Prime Minister, has had this meeting. So that sends out a big message to the world. And above all, it sets a new direction for China-India ties, that they are neighbors, they realize they have differences, they'll continue to agree to disagree in some issues, but a larger template for China-India ties have emerged following this informal summit meeting here.